Disputes between the Achim Apega stool and the coalition of Ghana State made headlines in the media space, with many condemning the assault by the community on the military men. Some section of Ghanaians also criticized one of the key actors, Sapong Kumankuma, for encroaching on land he does not own. The military, after the assault on their men, deployed officers to the area to restore and also search for some firearms, which is alleged to have been seized by the community. Barely 2 weeks after the incident, some residents of the community wants government to compensate them for the loss of their properties after they alleged that the military men deployed to the area harassed them and destroyed their personal properties such as television sets, fridges, air conditioners, among others. Some of the residents who have been speaking to Citi News say they have been forced to spend extra cash to purchase these items again.
I go back here, I realize my air conditioner was destroyed, broke into my room and took my laptop. It's actually someone's laptop I was working on. He needed some installations to be done on the tent. You know, I'm a teacher, so it's actually a colleague's laptop. So I had it on my study desk, which is next to the window. So when they broke the window glass, that's the louver plate, they had access to it and they took it away. You know, it's sad. So I don't know which country we're living in now. I think he has to step in and make sure whoever punishment is due should be given. And for the lost items that some of us has incurred should be taken care of in a way.
The bullet destroyed the zincs and all that, so people are still scared of what just happened because I've never witnessed such a thing before. Most of them travel to their villages and they are not yet in because of the rumors that will still be coming back. So people are still scared. Most of people lost their properties and all that. So I pray the government that should come around. If there is any situation, any solution, they should solve it.
In Libya, war scream make a diffuser, but now if it no Kamoto.
Diana Bonini detail, very similar in few.
When I get to 4 days today, boys are coming your mammy and blue. I can't abeco, no, he had me happy to go and my wardem.
Name Baby.
So, free. There were 1 year, Nick, 1 being your family used to fan.
I'm a year fan.
I'm a year fan. Kawa Danji, Kawa Pia, Wataka, was coming low fanket. I just tell me no, Baby, I make a wash should be come, she be a done one over our store.
Oh, she can't yen account.
Over 4 million. Now make over.
I've been apart from that. I mean, you go near and a million in your honor.
For free pay. Yo, care he wouldn't. No,
there will be no balance. I give you a work.
I fan, no, I'm a shako. I'm a year time. Wouldn't I'm a jail where me and I make a sliver Nakamalano. I was sliver fensher. Now, machine, I'm a
Aside the loss of personal properties, a resident of the town sustained gunshot wounds whilst trying to flee from the area, as well as an elderly man who is also alleged to have been assaulted by the military men.
Like Anzo, you are German doing Naka Utula, no, they try to like a woman, they try to like a woman, you join in Buffy. German and Dumosi in your free, yes, and yes, you born to let long, you are to like be a son in English, force me teaching. If for how many years I am not against a bushman, me and as village, I'm a promise. Can one look at I put many one got a good bashes, no one got I non chief because time is about Alicota on young where Nibiluana non soldier for Isiano, soldier for Isiano, when you bush and family yourself. One year get on in poke, and Qualis and Yamakunse, Maba be a dome bending a Jimmy Catidra. Wall could hear in an afum, Kusanku. Ya Jemieko Asuma Benka, Kusanya Reco, yes, and Bessy Kadofia Hunka logo.
Kaje densu or number for densu ne leun atom. Sining bena onim banana in favor some lente. Kaji anna perke be mummy.
For families of the late Tete Kofi, their brother died as a result of the shock he suffered when the military randomly visited his house as part of their routine checks in the area. They lament their loss. Business activities in the area remain slow as a result of the incident, since many still live in fear for the unknown. But these Okada riders tell me they have been kicked out of business after their motorbikes were seized.
Then they beat you, then the motor out, then they take the motor. They take the motor out. So up to now, you never have motor? No. So now that you know have motor, what job you did? I don't have any job. I mean, after the season motor, how is life now? Oh, now my life make useless because I have 4 children. Now this is my motor, so I don't have any job to do to take care of them. I want to go to school. But I pack my motor, I realized so just can't pick our motor go. So now that you know I have motor, how you survive? Now I've been following my brother, he's an electrician. So he's giving me money small. But now the job is not coming very well.
Assemblyman for the Pano electoral area in Domifase, Vincent Soga, believes compensation is needed to put the issue to rest, since many have lost their property.
Motors away, almost about 13 motorbikes have took away. Since then, they are walking around, no job, they are not doing anything, and this they are daily bread. They work this to have their daily bread. Since the motor have took away, they haven't done anything. They are just roaming about. So we are praying to the government to come to our aid. We need, some of them need compensation because they beat one man at Fanchinko. The next day, the person lost his life. We have buried him already. They took someone money at Mamu, 6,000.
So there you have it. I mean, this incident happened a few weeks ago, and when our very own Fremi Dunyame visited the place, it looked like a ghost town. It felt as though they were at war, you know, and I think that shouldn't have happened. Yes, what happened to the soldiers were very unfortunate. We will always speak against it, but to displace all the people within this community is a bit of a stretch. You know, you hear from the women in the community saying the soldiers came looking for our men, and you're asking, what are they going to do to these men? The women ran off, the children ran off, and I do think that we should help them get back to, on their feet, because it looks like they, I mean, I don't even want to think about the psychological impact of having to live through something like this.
No, it's very difficult. There are just so many angles to this that begs, you know, questions to be asked. You know, so this thing, was it sanctioned by the military high command? If it was, I mean, I can't see how it wasn't sanctioned by military high command. Looking at the large deployment, you know, of military people that were there on the ground. And then also, as part of their mandate is, you know, the military are supposed to be a disciplined bunch of guys, right? But as part of their mandate, were they authorized to go into houses and to smash up things and, you know, destroy things? I don't know. These are questions that I'm asking. And then, is it out of also maybe emotional exuberance that they just decide to go off the protocol and do what they did, you know? Just assuming that the pictures that we saw, the images we saw of people's things being smashed up and all that, whether it was done by the military men and so on. But yeah, I think it's a tough situation, and you're right. I mean, we do need to figure out a way to help these residents get some sense of normality.
Yeah. I mean, I was shocked that someone is saying there's an issue with their laptops, their AC, Okada riders can't find their motorbikes. It's one thing to go on an operation to, find the men and question them to find out who did what. Yeah. And another thing to take people's properties and destroy it, And I think we hold the military in such high esteem that one, they shouldn't even have been dragged into this land guard problems in the first place. They have no business behaving like these thugs who go into people's homes and terrorize them over our land. Yeah. I would want our military to stay out of these things, because we still, the perception we have of them is so strong that it will be sad if we begin to lose respect for them. And if what these residents are saying is anything to go by, then it is truly unfortunate that you would take basic things as part of your operation. I think it's really sad.
Yeah, unfortunately. Anyway, well, this weekend we had Keyboard Idol. Yeah, the fallout from that. I mean, I don't know what your experience was, if you enjoyed it as much as I did, but my favorite bit was Chris, when Chris was playing it's I don't know whether it's a praise hymnal, but I think that's what it is. And I don't want to even mention the name because I don't think it was an error, but the tune was just really gorgeous. His expression and the way he played, he really played like a grandmaster of the piano, and it was beautiful. Aww. Yeah, I think we should take a look
I was dreading, 81 going home, because it's always so sad and they're so young and you don't want to, make them feel bad. I mean, voice actually I didn't mind because they are old, they can handle it. But Keyboard Idol, the minute Jessica called the three of them to step up, I was like, oh my God, who's gonna go home? We should take a look at what happened. Let's take a look at what happened this Saturday on Keyboard Idol.
I'm going to have to announce that the three of you were actually in the bottom three this week. You're in the bottom three. What it means is that one of you are going to be evicted from the competition tonight. When you hear your name, I'll need you to just take a step forward, okay? Nana Kweku. Kwame Abua said that your delivery sounded a little clustered and he didn't really enjoy your performance. Bess Marie. Mayurami said she enjoyed your performance but asked you to be mindful of your countenance and to connect with the judges and your audience a little bit more. Vivian. Zap said there were too many gaps in your notes and he encouraged you to make use of the sustain pedal, of course, in your subsequent performances. Unfortunately, tonight, one of you's going home. Nana Kweku, it's not you, you're safe. You can go backstage. Vigno. Bess Marie.
I think we should give them a second chance. I say that because, this is the first time a program like this has happened in Ghana, and these are our kids, okay?
Yeah.
There's some shyness, there's some stage fright, they are still getting used to it. And even God gives second and third chances. So I don't know, the tension is building as we're going down, but we could give a second chance to be fair. Dr. Adakwen, Mr. Yabo, I don't know, what do you think?
If the judges agree?
I think it's not a bad idea.
So if the judges say they're going to give our contestants a second chance, let's just say our eviction is cancelled for the week. So you guys are safe. It's very important that we show people the total scores, the results from last week, and know exactly who would have been leaving. So here it is.
Have it, the results for the 1 week.
Yeah. So we see there. Let's start over from the on the right side of the screen. Uriel had 60.2. Best Mary had 35.8. Nana Kweku was with 52.7. Chris was 57.2. 65.9 was Kelvin. Joel had 63.8. Irajwa had 62.4. Nana Yao had 60.6. And Justice had 54. And Vigno had 52.6.
Yeah, as someone who wants at least one girl to win, I was really sad to find that Best Marie only had 35.8%. And what this means is that we need to vote, because it will be sad for your favorite contestant to go home simply because you forgot to vote. So you have from now until Thursday, 5 p.m. to take out your phones and dial *447*973# and vote for the contestant that you want to remain in the competition. Now the steps are right there. You dial the short code and send it. Choose the vote option, select your contestant, and select your number of votes. Remember that voting opens 7 p.m. on Saturday until 5 p.m. on Thursday.
Yeah, and the public has 30% of the vote of the scores. Okay, so it's important. Don't take it for granted. The judges will give them 70%, but the 30% comes from you. So it's important. The more people that vote for a particular contestant, the more likely they are to get higher marks. So it's important.
And I hope that next week, I don't like anyone to go home. Anyway, you guys know there's an election year. Our politicians will be coming into our homes to be asking for our votes. This is the time for us to demand better from them. So whatever problems, issues, challenges you have within your community, just take out your phone and record an up to 1 minute video. Send those videos to us via the email hellomrpresidenttv@gmail.com or our WhatsApp line 0550585832. And every Wednesday at 9:30 a.m. on this show, we will show the world what you are experiencing and call onto those policymakers to answer to exactly why they have failed you and how they plan on making life a little bit better for you. The email again is hellomrpresidenttv@gmail.com and the WhatsApp line is 0550585832.
Yes, and at the same time, we are also having the Voters Diary. It's happening every day at 1 p.m. on radio and at 3 p.m. on TV. So don't miss it for anything. 1 p.m. on radio and at 3 p.m. on TV. The Voters Diary, it's your choice to make.
We have a packed show for you today. Akosia Konedu Adam is in the building. Oh, we'll be talking about
nutrition. Yeah, we're going to be talking about plating, creating a healthy plate.
Ooh.
Yes.
And then Flossie will join us to make a healthy plate with us. So you don't want to lose any of that information I'll be having soon, actually. But news reviews next.
Yep.
My name is Jifa Ikia Ametam.
And I'm David Kwekusechi.
We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Is impossible without time. Time is endless motion. Make time work for you. Bet Planet. Time to bet.
Close-up deep action with antibacterial mouthwash formula. and deep cleaning gel. Close-up deep action. Enjoy long-lasting fresh breaths.
Welcome back. This is still Breakfast Daily on Citi TV. Thank you so much for staying with us. We'll take a look at our newspaper headlines, then some online stories, and then we'll introduce our guests who are already seated. The first paper is the Daily Graphic. On the front page of the Daily Graphic, we have Voters Register exhibition begins September 18th. That story is on page 3. NDC launches manifesto today. Story on page 20. Nana Konadu leads NDP to December polls. That story is on page 16. Clients of collapsed fund management companies, first batch receives payment end of month. That story is on page 16. And finally, MTN takes NCA to Supreme Court. That story is on page 64 of the Daily Graphic. We'll now go on to the Ghanaian Times. On the front page of the Ghanaian Times, we have Nana Konadu acclaimed flag bearer of NDP for 2020 polls. That story is on page 13. Child Rights International calls on government to consider opening basic schools. Story on page 14. Bagri Dam spillage, 6 die, hundreds rendered homeless, farms submerged. That story is a very unfortunate one, and it's on page 14. We'll be taking a look at that shortly. A Japan deal to go ahead. That's coming from the Finance Minister, Ken Ofori-Atta. Our final story here. Ghana Institute of Freight Forwarders laments breakdown in paperless port system. That story is on page 20 of the Ghanaian Times. We'll now go on to the Daily Statesman. On the front page of the Daily Statesman, we have Akufo-Addo calls out NDC leader over ethnocentric comments. That story is on page 2. Transparent Ejapa transaction still on course. It's coming from the Finance Minister, Ken Ofori-Atta, and that story is on page 2 of the Daily Statesman. We'll now take a look at the Finder. The front page of the Finder, we have Nana calls out Mahama for promoting ethnocentrism, asks clergy, CSOs, others to condemn it. That story is on page 8. Now Mahama responds. Mahama justifies amplifying ethnocentric comments. That story is on page 5. Thank you for One Village, One Dam policy. It's coming from the Tripoli chief, and that story is on page 8. Ejapa royalties transaction not suspended. It's coming from the Ministry of Finance, and that story is on page 9. Ghana-Nigeria Business Council applauds government's actions. That story is on page 4 of the Finder. Now we'll take a look at our final newspaper. I'm talking about the Chronicle. Don't pass public university bill into law. That's coming from Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyemang. That story is on page 12. Akufo-Addo mad over Mahama's Achim Mafia comment. Calls on clergy to reprimand NDC leader. That story is on page 3. We'll now take a look at some online stories. We'll start with citinewsroom.com. On citinewsroom.com, we have include us in bailout package, Men's Gold customers to government. NDC to launch 2020 manifesto today. NDC will transform Ghana into advanced nation if voted for. It's coming from the flag bearer of the NDC, John Dramani Mahama. EC to exhibit provisional voters register from September 18th. Apologize for endorsing tribalism with Achim Sakawa comments. Baumia to Mahama. When I take a look at some business news from your most comprehensive business news portal, citibusinessnews.com. On citibusinessnews.com, we have investing public will not be swayed by opposition to Ejapa royalties deal. It's coming from the Finance Minister, Ken Ofori-Atta. We've put in stringent measures to minimize fraud, Ghana Association of Bankers. Business picks up for dressmakers as government eases COVID-19 restrictions. Gary processors at Akrofrom call for government support. AGI urges companies to prepare effectively and take advantage of AFTA. Now take a look at some global news from BBC.com. On BBC.com, we have India becomes second worst hit country by COVID-19. It's a really sad one there. Of course, you can get all of your news from CitiNewsroom.com and all of your business news from CitiBusinessNews.com. Now, it is an interactive show, so wherever you're watching us from, we want to hear from you. Use the hashtag BreakfastDaily to join the conversation. If you're on Facebook, you can comment down below. If you want to reach us directly, our WhatsApp line is 0550585832. If you're outside Ghana, the country code is +233. I have been joined by Elvis Darko, who's the editor of The Finder. Good morning, Elvis.
Morning.
How are you?
I'm good.
How's your weekend?
It's a working weekend.
Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you.
I also have with me lawyer Kwame Jantwa, who's the former vice chair of PIAC. Good morning.
Morning, Akia. How are you?
I'm good.
Fine.
How's your weekend?
Fine. How was your weekend?
It was okay. It's restful.
Stressful?
It's restful.
Restful?
Yes.
No
I'm
jollof?
glad to be back. No jollof. I'm waiting for you to get me some jollof. We'll take a look at our first story here. I'll take it from The Finder. It says, Nana calls out Mahama for promoting ethnocentrism, ask clergy, CSOs, others to condemn it. That story is on page 8 of The Finder. So I'll read that and then we'll take Mahama's response as well. So Nana calls out Mahama. President Nana Danko Akufo-Addo has taken strong exceptions to former President John Mahama for promoting ethnocentrism by amplifying comments referring to people from Achim tribe as Sakawa people. The former president and now leader of the biggest opposition party in the country shared on his Facebook page and made comments on an article that was written by Isaac Adongo, the Member of Parliament for Bolgatanga Central, in which the legislature alleged that the Japa royalties deal was a fraud perpetrated on Ghanaians by the Achim Sakawa boys and Grandpa. So I'm going to quote briefly what that said. I'm very, very disturbed by this remark that this is coming from the president now. I'm very, very disturbed by this remark that the former President Mahama made, that statement that Achim people are Sakawa people. President Akufo-Addo said in a meeting with the Ghana Catholic Bishops' Conference, who called on him at the Jubilee House in Accra. What can be the basis of such a remark? If it is a public act that you have a problem with, fair enough. But the people who are doing it are given this ethnic branding. It cannot be right. That's the kind of language that we don't want in our politics. He goes on to say, if I was to get up to make a comment about Northerners or Gunjas, you can imagine the uproar that will be in the country. A presidential candidate, a former president of Ghana, you can call a group of Ghanaian Sakawa people, and it involves the group from which the sitting president comes from. And the statement goes without a comment. And in the same time, we hear these statements. Let's all try and bring the political insults to an end. So President Mahama responds, of course, the president goes on and on and on, pretty much saying what the former president did was not right, and CSOs, among others, should call him to order. But Mahama also justifies what he said. So on page 5 of the Finder, it says, Mahama justifies amplifying ethnocentric comments. Flag bearer of the opposition National Democratic Congress, John Mahama, has said, President Akufo-Addo does not have the moral right to complain about name calling. The former president accused Akufo-Addo of displaying his frustrations ahead of the December 7th polls. Into quotes, "What I remember is that I shared the post of one of our finest and brilliant MPs from Bolgatanga Central, Isaac Adongo. In that post, Adongo described certain people in the Akufo-Addo government. You know, he has a lot of his friends and members of his family in his government. So Adongo described those people behind a certain shady deal in the government in that particular manner." He goes on to say that everybody knows I've been in politics and I will be the last to express any ethnic sentiments. But in any case, President Akufo-Addo has lost the right to complain. So he goes on to say the kinds of things Akufo-Addo said when he was flag bearer, calling the president Professor Doolittle, among others, and he says that perhaps the president should, be measured in his temperament in reacting to the post that he shared. Elvis, let me come to you on this. What are your thoughts on this whole ethnocentrism? You know that the vice president has also come out and asked Muhammad to apologize for, sharing that post.
Basically, ethnicity is a good thing, that we belong to different tribes, different ethnic groups, and we live in harmony. It's a beautiful thing. Ethnicity is so beautiful. But a negative part of ethnicity is called ethnocentrism. That is when you are trying to denigrate a particular ethnic group or set them against another ethnic group. That brings problems because it could destroy any country in the world. And a clear example is Liberia. A clear example is the war that happened in Ivory Coast. All these things, if you look at it,
Rwanda as well.
Rwanda, you look at these things and clearly the ethnocentrism was clear, play a key role in destroying this country that has led to the loss of lives of many people. So for me, ethnocentrism is not something that we should all entertain anyway, anywhere. I think former President Mahama, in my opinion, should just apologize for this. He didn't say it, he didn't write it. A member of his person wrote something. He shared on his Facebook wall. It's obvious what the member of parliament wrote is distasteful, and therefore, if you shared it and there's public uproar, as a candidate who wants to return to rule this country again, I think that he will become president for all Ghanaians, not for a particular type of people and against a particular type of people. And therefore, I think that it's important that he should avoid anything about tribe in his comment and apologize and let this go. Because I think that Ndc launching their campaign today should have been like the leading stories in many papers. They should have given maybe snippets of what people should expect that should actually lead the morning's discussion, and then in the afternoon they launch the manifesto. I think that would have given them a more positive angle of what they're about. Even papers that are like aligned to the ideology of the NDC are all carrying the controversy that is arising from the ethnocentric comment. And I think that it doesn't do him and the NDC party any good. For me, there's nothing that can be justified in what he's saying. Elsewhere in the world, people have shared, or have not even shared, just liked comments on social media. And when the cases went to court and court found that the cases were defamatory, those who actually even liked the comment were also found guilty of defamatory. They are also governed of defamation for liking a comment that has been found to be defamatory by a court. They have also been accused and charged and found guilty of defamation. So the fact that his social media handle, and he himself actually admitted that he shared it. Once he admits sharing it, I think that for me, my advice to the former president is that he should apologize for this issue to die down so that he can have the time to actually talk about what NDC intends to do for the people. This ethnocentrism does not put food on the table of anybody. It's the policies and programs that NDC wants to implement if given the chance again. It's what people will be looking out for. So if he drags this issue and the discussions continue to focus on this issue, I think it will take attention away from the kind of policies and programs that NDC wants to implement. And I don't think that it will be helpful to his cause. I don't think that it will be helpful to the cause of the NDC. So I think that he should avoid this thing. The justification is given that Nanado has called Professor Amos Doolittle. Nanado didn't call Fantis as Doolittle. He didn't add the tribe of Professor Amos to it. He referred to Professor Amos as a person and said Professor Amos is Professor Doolittle. So it's one on it's a personal thing. He didn't bring the tribe of Professor Amos into it. So it's a complete different ballgame to say that because he calls somebody Professor Doolittle, it means that you too, you call him if you say Nanado is this, we know that it's politics. But when you are generalizing by adding his tribe to it, then you are going to create a problem for everybody. So I think that he should just apologize and rather have time and a concentration to deal with what he wants to do for Ghanaians than dragging this issue.
Thank you very much, Lawyer Janswa. So the flag bearer for NDC said that Honorable Adongo mentioned it within the context of, the Japa royalty deals. He also goes on to mention that he has people within his party that are from Achim. He mentioned the chairman of the NDC, for instance, Samuel Ofosu-Ampofo, being an Achim, among others. So there's no way that he could be accused of, being ethnocentric.
Okay, good morning. The first question I will ask is, and good morning to our viewers. The first question I'll ask is, was this comment necessary? 2, why was there a response to it? The actual genesis of the comment came from who? Isaac Adongo. When Isaac Adongo made that comment, who said anything? Did Parliament say anything? Did the Speaker say anything?
Well, he posted it on his Facebook page.
He posted it on Facebook. He's a parliamentarian. He owes a responsibility to Parliament, and by owing responsibility to Parliament, you owe responsibility to the people you represent, and on the whole, you owe responsibility to Ghanaians. When he said it, did anybody say anything? Okay. So it took the president to say it, to comment about it.
Or he shared it.
Or, well, he commented about it, and it has gone into different dimensions. These types of comments is something that is endemic in our politics today. It's been there, they've been saying, politicians have been talking about it, but okay, I ask the question, do we hate each other that much as politicians? Would we want to find any way or means of getting into power by using these comments? Why did Isaac Adongo make this comment? Now, he made the comment. Did the NDC say anything to him? Did the minority leader call him to book? Did former President Mahama call him to say that, my friend, you can't use these types of comments. It is not right? They took it as, yes. But you see, let's look at the feeling in the country with regards to this Ijapa deal. Unfortunately, those in the rural areas don't seem to understand this Ijapa deal. But those in the urban areas, and I want to be blunt, and I want to be objective, the feeling about this Ijapa deal is that certain people in the current government are the ones pushing it. That's the feeling. And I take it that that feeling prompted Adongo's comment. I'm not saying it's a right feeling, but it also goes to show that if the Ijapa deal was clarified from the word go, there was a lot of communication between stakeholders, CSOs and all that, we won't be where we are today with such comments. I condemn it. Why? We are all Ghanaians. Irrespective of who is in power, we are all Ghanaians. And if government has proposed a particular transaction and we do not agree to it, a certain section of the country does not agree to it, let's look at the content. That is what is important. Let's see how we resolve it. The way the CSOs are trying to look at it. And mind you, the CSOs have never said that the deal is bad. They have indicated that the processes that has led to the transaction, there are questions to be answered there. And so I don't understand how Adongo would say, MP for Bolikatanga Central, would say something like this and then we leave it. The president says, question the silence of senior citizens over the comment. Yes, I feel that people have been silent because of the way they feel about the Japa deal. And because of the elements that they feel are pushing this irrespective of what anybody is saying.
But shouldn't they whip the flag bearer of the NDC in line if they feel as though he's getting out of hand?
Everybody, their own party people should whip them in line. To whip the former president in line. And comments in politics, when the president was in opposition, he made certain comments. Okay, some didn't, or most wasn't to do the particular tribe. But some of the comments that were made, you ask yourself, was it necessary? I don't want to repeat some of those comments. And it's wrong. Look, when they overthrew Nkrumah, some of the things they said about the man was atrocious. And so you can see, the genesis of this started way back there and is now endemic in our politics. Whose responsibility is it now to make sure that we eradicate such comments? Responsibility is everybody's, especially the media. And why do I say especially the media? They have the mouthpiece of the people. They should condemn it. They should have people come on, talk about it. And then we need to bring back this information services van thing. We need to bring it back. Because this is the kind of thing that, you know, we can go into communities and sit with communities and talk with communities. To wrap up, I would suggest that parliamentarians should go to their constituencies now that we're going into an election and talk about this and make sure that people don't use it as a yardstick to commit violence for the election.
Thank you very much. We'll take a look at our second story here. I'm reading from page 20 of the Daily Graphic, and it says NDC launches manifesto today. So the flag bearer of the National Democratic Congress, John Dramani Mahama, has said the 2020 manifesto of the party, which will be launched today, will provide a path to turn Ghana into an advanced nation as soon as possible. Providing some personal reflections on the political substance of the manifesto yesterday, he said, and I quote him, "It is our sacred mission to turn Ghana into an advanced nation as soon as possible. It is our moral obligation to be bold and aim at greatness." He said, what the nation saw as good enough should not be viewed as such any longer. I'm going to quote him, "To prosper and thrive, we need fundamental change. We need to set our standards and expectations far higher than good enough. If we are to settle for good enough, we settle for the slow death of our very soul and our pride." He went on to thank people for being with him, but then he also addressed the question of why he was running again. So Mr. Mahama said many people were questioning why he was running for president again and indicated that he had no problem with that question. I'm going to quote what he said. "I know many of you ask this question, sometimes openly, sometimes in silence. Why run again? It is a fair question and it deserves a fair personal answer. It will be a collective answer coming from all the fabulous NDC members and supporters, men and women, who participated in its formation." So he's saying the answer will actually be in the manifesto that will be launched later today. "I didn't jump into it. I did it out of a sense of urgency after I began to contemplate more and more thoroughly about our vulnerabilities as a nation." He goes on to say, that with this legacy, so let me just quote what he said. He said he was running for president because he wanted to leave a legacy, one of solid infrastructure with 100% access for all, saying that with this legacy, we will build a truly developed Ghana to be able to be at par with the advanced nations. I know how to do it. part of it I've already accomplished, and since I know how to do it and the current government doesn't, I feel I have the moral duty to ask for a second term. This is not about me, it's about Ghana and Ghanaians. So there we have it from the official flag bearer of the NDC and former president of the country. Elvis, your thoughts on the launch today and what the flag bearer of the NDC is saying?
Well, for me, as at the launch, as I said before, I think the NDC, which is an opposition party, should rather have launched their manifesto ahead of the governing party, because being opposition, they had all the time to put together what they think they could do better than the government. So, but unfortunately it didn't happen. But they are going to do it. I'm happy, because I have always said that the era where they wait till 1 month to elections and give us manifesto is not the best. They give us ahead of time. We'll have the time to actually look at it. At least today is on the 7th, and we are voting on the 7th of December. So at least we have the September, October, November. So at least 3 months to scrutinize whatever they have written there. Because the devil is always in the detail. The manifesto gives opportunity. There are things, he has already mentioned some of the things he intends to do. How he intends to do it will be explained in the manifesto. And then when we have questions as to how they intend to do it, if we think that the way they want to do it is questionable, then we can all question, so that by the time we vote and whoever wins, we know exactly what they have promised us. And then when we are holding them accountable to it, then we know that this is what we are holding you accountable to. So for me, it's important to get to know how he intends to do some of the things. The Okada legalization, how he intends to go about it. They are talking about some big push, $10 billion. The $10 billion, the question is, what are we going to use the $10 billion for? Where and where? Which particular projects are we going to do the expenditure, and why have we chosen those areas? It's very important. It's talking about creating 1 million jobs in 4 years. What type of jobs? Is it Okada jobs? Is it jobs that will pay 300 cedis, or jobs that will pay 700 cedis? All these are issues that we need to. The quality of the jobs also matter. Yes, the jobs are not there, so the one you get is, but then the quality of jobs that you want to create is also important. So how do you intend to create it? What are the strategies that they have in place to be able to create the 1 million jobs in 4 years, which means 250,000 jobs each year? So for me, I think that all these issues will be laid bare in the manifesto. They will have the opportunity to look at it and ask all the questions. So for me, I think it's good that they are going to launch it 3 months to the elections. The issue of why he wants to run again, his party has chosen him as their presidential candidate. So if he stood for the primaries and the party said, yeah, we think that he should come back, by the constitution, he has 4 more years to serve, because he served only 4 years as president, and therefore for 4 years he has the right to serve. So it is his right, just like any Ghanaian has the right to say, I want to be president of Ghana. It's his right. And if his party deemed it necessary that he's the best they have to offer at this point in time, why not? He can't reject that offer. So for me, the question as to why he wants to run again, when people ask it, sometimes I ask myself, why not? If the law that can ban him is not against him, if he's still within the legal mandate, why do you ask why the person wants to come back again? In your opinion, you think that, okay, he's not done enough to my satisfaction. But for another person's opinion, they are satisfied with his work. So if you're asking, because you're not satisfied, why is he coming? The person who is satisfied with him wants him back. So then at the end of the day, this argument of why he's coming or why he's not coming, is like somebody is NDC, so why is Nanado going to contest, and why didn't Nanado give it to Baumia to continue? You understand it? Because that person think that, oh, Nanado maybe by his age, 4 years is enough. He has achieved his aim of becoming president, so he should have handed over to Baumia.
But is it a problem that should be addressed within the manifesto launch, just to clear the air, as he's saying?
No. Those questions are asked by MPP people. It's opposition people are asking why he's coming again. No NDC person is asking why Mama is coming again. So why does he have to address it in the manifesto? He does not need to do that. That's why I said, those who are satisfied with his performance in the government want him back. Or those who actually saying, he said, okay, I've realized that I made some mistakes whilst in government. If you give me the opportunity again, I'll correct those mistakes. Somebody who even does it, who think that, oh, because of ABC, he shouldn't come again. The person said, oh, I've admitted that I've made certain mistakes. Although he has not listed, he has not actually listed the kind of things he deemed as mistakes. That has openly said, yes, I made some mistakes. If you give me the chance again, I'll come back. So somebody who may be asking, why are you coming back maybe 3 months ago, may not have an answer that, oh, the man said he has made mistake, you want to come and correct them. So for me, I think that this issue of why it's coming against is mostly from opposition. Yeah, and therefore I don't think that he has to spend manifesto to how to explain that. The same way that, as I said, there are a lot of NDC people that Nana has had a dream of becoming president. He has been president for 4 years. Why wouldn't he give it to Baumia? Because he's old. There are those who in the opposition who also think that Nana shouldn't be the presidential candidate of NPP again. So these issues, they are just pure trivial politics. Why is coming again is not the matter. What are you coming to offer again is the matter. How are you coming to improve the lives of the people? What are the policies, programs, initiatives you want to put? How do you intend to do it? Are these feasible? The timelines. These are the questions I think people should be asking, not why he wants to come again. The Constitution gives him the right to come again. That is it.
Okay, on that note, we'll go for a quick break. This is still Breakfast Daily on CCTV. It's an interactive show. So wherever you are, we want to hear from you. If you're on Facebook, just comment down below. If you're on other social media platforms, the hashtag is Breakfast Daily. If you want to reach us directly, our WhatsApp line is 0550585832. If you're outside Ghana, the country code is +233. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
There is nothing as hard as a diamond. For buildings with superior strength that withstand all weather conditions, Diamond Cement should be your preferred choice. Locate Diamond Cement nationwide with factories in Aflao, Takrady and Bupe. Diamond Cement, as hard as a diamond.
Welcome back. This is still Breakfast Daily on CCTV. Thank you so much for staying with us. It is an interactive show, so we want to hear from you. If you're on Facebook, just comment down below. If you're on other social media platforms, the hashtag to use to join the conversation is Breakfast Daily. And if you want to reach us directly, our WhatsApp line is 0550585832. If you're outside Ghana, the country code is +233. I still have with me Elvis Dakon, who's the editor of The Finder, as well as lawyer Kwame Jantua, who's a former vice chair of PIAC. And before the break, we were discussing the NDC Manifesto that's going to launch today. And the president, John Dramani Mahama, who's also the flag bearer of the party, saying that he would address questions people have on why he's running again. He also talked about the legacy that he wants to leave behind, wanting to grow Ghana into a developed nation. He talked about infrastructure, among other things, and how the current administration has not lived up to the standard that he has for the country. So, Lawyer Kwame Jantua, your thoughts first on the manifesto launch today and some of the issues that the flag bearer of the NDC says they will address.
Okay, the proof of the pudding is in the eating, isn't it? So, with regards to commenting on some of the things President Mahama has said there, we would need to see what is in the manifesto to be able to comment in such a way that if yes, what he says goes with what is in the manifesto, then we see how that can manifest itself if he's voted to be president of Ghana. I don't think that, unfortunately, President Mahama, during his reign, showed that he was interested in building this country into an advanced country.
Really?
Yes.
How so?
The challenges that went with his presidency had nothing to do with building this country up.
What kind of challenges?
People weren't really happy with the way governance was in this country. Yes, were you?
Are people happy today?
Well, they voted him out, didn't they? They voted him out for a reason, didn't they? And if people were happy, he would still be in power.
Okay.
And so based on that, when he says he's going to turn Ghana into an advanced country, there's a question mark till we see the manifesto. Yes, one thing he did that one can probably say maybe is putting in a long-term national development plan. Maybe, because a long-term national development plan has proven to us from the first government, the CPP government, that long-term national development plans work. And when you look around the world, those countries that have adopted a long-term national development plan have advanced. The Koreas of this world, the Chinas of this world, even in America, even in the UK. And so we wait to see. I'm sure viewers would, some viewers would ask me a question, but you CPP, is your manifesto out? That you're talking about NDC's manifesto, but it's NDC's manifesto that we are discussing. If it were the CPP's manifesto too, I would say what I need to say.
Okay.
So nobody should hound me about that. But for me, okay, one of the most important things, and when the Electoral Commission wants to pass some regulation, it's called the CI, right? I think the Electoral Commission, for the benefit of the people of this country, should set dates when manifestos should come out.
Really?
Yes.
Why?
How many months is it to elections? How can people absorb what is in both? Have you seen the volume of the MPP manifesto?
Yes.
How can people have the time to actually delve into these manifestos, to decide in the ballot box when they walk into the ballot box, say, well, I read the manifesto, I understood it, so let me
I think 80% of the MPP manifesto was actually a review of what they promised, how far they've come to deliver. Only maybe 20% was actually on the next step of what they are going to do come 2021.
And you don't think,
you still think 3 months is too short?
And you don't think we should debate that 20%?
Okay, yeah, it's important.
Juxtaposing it against what they have done.
But you don't think 3 months to elections?
I don't think so. I don't think
time?
it's fair, because you have more than one political party. I think by July, 6 months to the election, every party should have its manifesto out.
What's the update on your manifesto? Since
well, I'm part of the manifesto committee. We are meeting today. Our manifesto is going to be short and crisp.
Okay, so you won't need
we're not going to do the way the others have done it.
Okay.
We will do it differently. In the source of what we're going to put in there, we would describe it to Ghanaians for Ghanaians to understand why our manifesto is going to be that way.
So you don't need to bring that out in July?
The moment is, the challenge is for the electorate to understand what is in the manifesto.
Okay.
Have you read through the MPP manifesto?
I have. I've read
from page 1 to page 200?
Yes.
Okay. How many people of your ilk will do that?
Well, I think you can. You have a table of contents where you can focus on what you're passionate about, be it agriculture or education, so you can narrow down on the issues that you would want the government to solve.
Your work demands you to do that. Your work demands you to do that. Most of us, I haven't read I've read bits of it, but I haven't read all. But most people won't read the manifesto. They'll just go by hearsay.
Yeah, or follow the stories that media houses will carry from
that isn't effective.
Okay, so you think it should be July?
I think it should be. I think it should. Yes, set it for by July. Everybody's manifesto should be out. Gives us time to debate. Gives us time to discuss it. Gives us time to see whether what they are saying is right. Gives us time to see the time limit that they have, the 4 years, whether to be able to do that. And ideally, if we can, it's difficult, but if we can, be able to direct ourselves to the source of finances for some of these projects. Right now, the NDC have been in power, the MPP are in power. They have an idea of where sources of income come from. They have an idea of where they can get funds for some of these projects. They should be able to indicate to us. So even if they don't put it in the manifesto, when they now come and stand on the platform and they have these discussions, we've got to be able to ask them, where is the source of the money coming from? And they should be able to tell us.
Okay. So speaking of the NDC Manifesto Launch, we will be carrying it live here at Citi TV as well as 97.3 Citi FM at exactly 6 p.m. So you don't want to miss any of that coverage. Former president also said that MPP had failed. So I'm going to quote what he said. Mr. Mahama said, unfortunately, the current government has refused to continue on the progressive path of his administration, thereby failing to make the nation less vulnerable and more resilient. I'm going to quote what he said. Let me give you one example. Access to electricity. In 2012, 69.2% of Ghanaians had access to electricity. In 2016, when I left office after my first term as president, 79.3% of Ghanaians had access to electricity, a 10% increase in 4 years. When I left office, I was confident that a new government will deliver 90%, if not 100% access to electricity in the next 4 years. However, the MPP administration, the MPP government increased overall access to electricity from 79.3% to only 82.3%, a mere 3% increase. So Elvis, he's also pointing out sectors that he thinks, NPP did not really follow through as far as progressive development is concerned, and using the access to electricity as an example. Your thoughts on this?
See, these things, because public institutions are not publishing information voluntarily for us to verify this kind of facts from the user agency, the agency responsible. The politicians come and they come and give us all kinds of figures, and now we are bundling figures around. Well, it says electricity. Is electricity the only thing that makes Ghana progress? So, yes, it's good for him to talk about what he thinks are his positives. And that is what every smart politician can do. And I'm happy that he's looking at where he thinks his strengths are and is highlighting it. It's good. So the NPP also look at where their strengths are and highlight it. And I'm happy that he is now beginning to realize that, yes, you have to account to the people where you think you have done very well. But will he also account to the people where he has failed? That is the issue. Will he openly say, these areas have also failed Poto? Will a politician do that? They won't do that. So they will give you only one side of the equation which favors them. And that is why the manifestos are key, so that we ourselves will look at them. In fact, some of the deliveries that the parties are even putting up, I will expect the user agencies to be the ones that put this information publicly accessible to everybody anywhere in the world. If we say school buildings, Minister of Education should have it on its website, 2012 to 2016. These are the number of school buildings that have been built, started and completed within this period. So that we will know that these are the factual issues. Okay? When it fits them, they will tell you that, oh, this project, we got a loan. And then this government came to continue, so we take credit. But the ones that another person got the loan before they came to continue, they will claim credit for it. They will not tell you that, as for this one, we took the loans, somebody took the loan before we come. That's what they won't tell you. You see, so it's about time. That's why the RTI law is so important, but it's like public institutions are not willing and are not ready to implement it. See, they've gotten a better understanding of the issues. Okay? All the life he said is talked about. The question is it the one who went for all the projects, or some was started by the Kufu administration, some was started by the Mills administration, and he continued, yet he's taking credit for all? You see, so some of these things is good, and I'm happy that he's talking about his positive, but I also encourage the politicians to openly also admit in places where they have failed, so that the public will know that you have been truthful. But when we try and do this propaganda information, that's for this place is good for me, so I'll highlight more on it. This place are not good, so I'll not highlight on it. It's half truth that you are giving to the people. So for me, it's good that he's saying it, but he started by saying that, like, in general progress of the country, then now in general progress of the country, then you reduce it to only electricity. So what about
it's an example.
What about all the other sectors?
It was one example. I'm sure he'll give more examples.
So that's what I'm saying. So when you want to look at it in generality, let's put it in generality. If we look at it just about sector, let's be specific about the sector so that we have a clearer information. But as I said, this isn't happening because right now if I go to the Ministry of Energy website, I may not get this information that between 2000 and 2008, these are electricity connections, that is extension, started and completed by this government, this and that and that. Then I could have picked all the figures and then say, yeah, this is it. But then, because public institutions have kept information they produce with taxpayers onto themselves, now we rely on politicians to come and tell us, and now we debate it. So for me, it's good he's talking about his positives, because that is politics. That is why he needs to convince the people to vote for him. It's left for the opposition. So the government also to come and tell his story why the government also believes that it's done well and that people should vote for them. That is what will make progress. For me, if we reduce the discussion to issues like this, that is what makes this country progress. When I came, I did this, I did that. When you give me the chance, I'll do this, I'll do that. Let's hear more of that.
Specific progress.
Specifics. Instead of going to generals and not giving it. This is what is good. I've increased by 10%. Somebody has done 4 years, they have done 3%. We need to verify those figures. If that's the case, it's his advantage. He has every right to trumpet it. This is the community that don't have the electricity who he gave to. We'll be grateful to him that it was under Mahama's government that we got electricity. Nobody can dispute that. So for me, it's good. And when we do this, every party will be motivated to say, when I'm government, I need to do things so that I can account to the people that I did this for you. So for me, I think that it's a good thing he's doing. It's between the two of them too. But the journalists, as we are, we must then now go in and get the actual figures to come and see who is telling us the truth and who is lying.
Thank you.
Why would public institutions want to give out this kind of information when any time a new government comes into power, there's a wholesale change? Why will they do that?
But they still there to serve the interest of
they take the old people out and put new people in, their own people in. So why would they have the tenacity and responsibility or power to come out and say something that is true when a politician wants to skewer it? That kind of system should change. The fact that you've come into power doesn't mean you should have a wholesale change of the public sector and put your own people in. Not until we stop that. What Elvis is suggesting is going to be very difficult to do. Now, 2, this goes to show you why we need a long-term national development plan and not base it on a party's manifesto. Why would President Mahama feel or think that when Akufo-Addo's government, MPP, came into power, they will still follow his trajectory? Why? When what he did was in his manifesto and they have their own ideas of what they want to do and they put it in their manifesto. Why? He's not obliged to do it. Yes, the Constitution says that we should continue a previous administration's projects that they come and do. But do we follow it? And if we don't follow it, who takes them on? Who would take the Akufo-Addo government on for not following some of John Mahama's projects? Who would take John Mahama on for not following on some of Kufuor's projects? Nobody. Because we don't have the right information to be able to do that. And even when the citizens talk about it, the politicians don't care. Because the politicians get into power because they want to serve themselves and not serve us. It should be the other way around. And so we should try as much as possible to make sure that there is a system in place where we can judge what a government has come into power to do and not only depend on the politicians to tell us.
Thank you very much. We've received some messages from you guys. I'm going to read them briefly. Sami Boache from Asamankese says, look, Mahama-led NDC and their ethnocentric and reckless comments is becoming unbecoming. And I think those civil society who used to speak on certain issues should advise them. Ghanaians are not ready for any correction flag bearer. Governance is a very serious and critical business-minded people to hold that particular position and not okay. This is coming from Sami Boachi, says 4 more to do more. Good morning, Jifa. Former President Mahama should tell Ghanaians the mistakes he's coming to correct. He's coming to correct if voted to be president again. This is coming from Salim in Wa Mama G from Kaspa says Ghanaians are waiting for JM to come out and boldly apologize to us. We are wise enough to follow tribal politics. Okay, we are wise enough not to follow tribal politics at this time. Elections 2020 will be based on what you have done and what you would do. This you are saying for Nana. Okay. This one is from Winneba. These details from Winneba says, I also agree with that question. Shouldn't be why someone would want to become president again, but what they are going to do new this time around. Politics is about change and progress, and equal opportunities are the foundation of any democratic society. Musa from Kumasi says, anybody who tried to defend Ijapa royalty deal will eventually dent his image because it stinks with corruption and nepotism. Hence, only people who will benefit directly and indirectly are defending the deal. So he goes on to talk about, this is related to Adongo's post. More messages here. Madam, I don't think Elvis has been fair to the former president this morning. He's asking the former president to apologize for something he has said. He will be the last person to campaign on tribalism. Okay, so apologize when he said he'd be the last person to campaign on tribalism. I hope Elvis was in the country when Madame Ursula said to Northerners that if it was not because of free SHS, we should have by now running after cows. Did Elvis call her to apologize? Then what two wrongs do not make a right? But I don't know if Elvis wants to respond.
Well, I condemn that statement. I condemn that statement that as a public official, that's not how to talk. If he's not a public official, I never supported that Ursula. And I'm asking my mama to apologize for sharing the comment. Yeah. I'm just telling him that it brings in tribal sentiment. Yeah. And so just apologize. He didn't write it. He didn't utter it. He didn't say it. He shared what a member of the party has written. You lose nothing by apologizing that I shared something a member of my party has written, and it's turned out to be distasteful, so I apologize. So what's too difficult about apologizing for something you shared? I don't think that is too difficult for him to do.
Okay, so take a look at our final story here. I'm reading from CitiNewsroom.com. It says, Northeast, 2 more die after spillage of Bagri Dam. So on CitiNewsroom.com, it says 2 farmers at the Mampugu Muaduri district of the Northeast region died while trying to harvest from their maize field, which was flooded as a result of the continuous spillage of the Bagri Dam. The National Disaster Management Organization in the Northeast region confirmed the incident to Citi News on Sunday. This brings the number of persons killed due to excessive spillage in parts of the Northeast region to 6. The deceased persons, according to NADMO, are farmers working on crops at the banks of the White Volta. Going to quote what the Northeast Regional Director of NADMO, John Kweku Al-Hassan, said. We had 2 more deaths from the Mampugu Muanduri district because their farmlands have been submerged in water. It was only yesterday that their bodies were discovered. He further said that one of the deceased comes from Fumbisi, a town around Bulsa South district in the Upper East region. The previous deaths were recorded at Janga in the West Mampusi municipality, and it goes on to talk about, due to the water level, we are unable to carry proper assessment. We are planning to brief the minister and see if we can begin monitoring by Tuesday. That's what he said to Citi News. Lawyer Jantwa, what do you make of this issue of people dying due to the spillage of the Bagri Dam?
Jifa, there is a legal doctrine in tort in law called vicarious liability. Let me define it so that people understand where I'm coming from. Vicarious liability, which is a legal doctrine in tort, is whereby a person who is not personally at fault is legally required to bear the burden of another's tortious wrongdoing. So, when you look at the spillage of the Bagri Dam, Ghana vicariously is bearing that liability. Was it caused by us? Is that dam in Ghana? Is that dam not in another country, Burkina Faso? Isn't the cause of that dam being spilled causing our people to die, spoiling farmlands. And so the question would be asked, whose responsibility is it? Is the responsibility the local community? Is it a shared responsibility between the Ghanaian authorities and the Burkina Faso authorities? Or is it the responsibility of Burkina Faso? Too many of our people have died. Too much money has been spent by our governments to make sure that something like this doesn't happen. I think it's time we had some kind of a meeting with the government of Burkina Faso. I don't know what kind of dialogue has gone on. I know some time back, was it last year or the year before, President Akufo-Addo had a discussion with the president of Burkina Faso. What has come out of that? And if Burkina Faso is not prepared to help in saving lives in Ghana because of the spillage of the dam, then we should escalate this. We should either take it to ECOWAS, or we should take it to the AU, or even take it to the UN. Because our people can't be dying that way. Yes, we have responsibility in terms of making sure that our people are safe. I think President Akufo-Addo indicated that they were going to build a dam to capture the water. What has happened to that project? Where are we today? Because we know that the Bagri Dam is spilled every year. Every year, just like down here near McCarthy Hill. What is that place called? Wija. Wija Dam is spilled every year, and before it's spilled, the authorities tell the people in lowland areas it's going to be spilled, move from your houses. But is that what it is? Something concrete should be done. That water is needed and required for other things, can be used for other things, just like the way they burnt excavators and trucks when people were doing galamsey. It was a useless thing to do because we could have put those machines in a pool and use it for development. Equally, the spilling of the Bagri Dam is important for us if we can handle it properly. But I think the responsibility of making sure that this thing works lies in the hands of Burkina Faso, and Ghana should push to make sure that they are part of the bargain. They should take care of it, and we will take care of ours.
Thank you. Elvis?
Yeah, I think that we have been with this for a long time. And finally, we have taken the step to do the big project called the Poalogu Dam. It has been on the table since Kwame Nkrumah era. 63 years of independence. We are still now going to build the Bagri Dam. But thank God, it's going to be done. I only hope that we can get the job. Because what I've read, the last thing I've read about it is that because of compensation issues for the communities around and areas that will be affected, the project can't take off. So now they are trying to sort out all the compensation issues. We are going to do something to save the lives of the people, but then the issue of compensation is now delaying the project. This is almost $1 billion project that's going to generate some electricity, going to create opportunities for people to have irrigated farms, and will stop this Bagri Dam, because then the water